俺たちも同じもん食ってんだ。
パパもお肉ばっかりだよ。
悪い悪い。
たくさんあるからみんなゆっくり食べてね。
もうフォロー化してしもたんですか。
悪い悪い。
たくさんあるからみんなゆっくり食べ。
心配する必要はない。すべては予定通り。これから始まるんだ。
So the Madara DLC is finally here. And you see I got the Rogue Shinobi headband because I'm going against the community today. And I know you're wondering, why are you already trying to nerf Madara? It's 'cause that's what I do on this channel. We nerf and we try to destroy the meta. So if this is something that you might be interested in, stay tuned. If you've been here before and you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications so you can know whenever I post new videos. I have the timestamps in the description because I'm going to be doing a little bit of a review in the beginning, so if you just want to skip to the counters, you can do that. And I also have it separated by class, that way you can see counters for Madara's Jutsu depending on what class you run. But I'm not even going to waste your time anymore. Let's go ahead and get to this video.
Just to lay out your own domain. Wait till you say that was the best you can do, Austin.
息がくせえ。
So look, a lot of y'all are probably going to unsub right now, but hey, I gotta say it before I get into this review. I've always been more of a Hashirama fan over Madara.
Weakness of any kind completely revolts me. A weak Senju disgusts me even more.
I get the Madara, you know, fandom a little bit, but hey, especially when they try to disrespect my man Hashirama. I mean, come on now, this man's cells is still being used to this point in the show. Madara literally had to go get his cells to be able to be on his level. So I mean, talking about Hashirama, you gotta watch it. And Hashirama's not even my favorite character. But all around, I'm actually pretty excited, you know, what Madara brought to the game. So as far as the awards, for the most part, you're gonna get, you know, both of his ninjutsu. You're also gonna get the Madara outfit, basically, I believe the young version. So you get the young version of Madara's outfit, and then you also get the young battle attire version, which is pretty cool. You get the hair of the 6 paths, so whenever you have the little thingy, I don't know what it is that the Otsutsuki have, they always rip it off, or it gets took off, but their little, you know, their little plate they have on their forehead, and then it also has his hair. And then you also get Madara's staff. Now what I liked about the staff, the combos for the most part stays the same with the Madara DLC. So the Y and the triangle for PlayStation has a unique little move where they use the Truth Seeker orbs to go out and strike, and the Truth Seeker orbs go behind you on certain strikes. So the Madara staff is pretty cool. It's not that fast, I believe, but it's a unique jutsu, well, a unique weapon, and you know, I'm definitely probably going to start using it over, you know, Itachi's Anbu blade. And then you also get the honorary title Savior of the World, because you know, some people feel like Madara saved us from Baruto, but I like Baruto.
Man's is this? Get him the f out of here.
But you know, well, no, people feel like Madara almost saved us from Baruto, but you know, I like Baruto. So, but those are all the rewards. So now let's get to this breakdown. So some key points before we actually break down Limbo Clone is it protects you from most ninja tools and projectiles, but not all, and we're gonna get more into that as we get in. It's weak against taijutsu moves, so things like dynamic entry and Leaf Rising Wind, they're gonna still be able to hit you and deal damage. Your Limbo clones are gonna come to attack, but for some reason, you know, they're still going to get through. The Limbo clones don't stop the actual attack from going through. This thing is also good with breaking Susanoo armor, which is very surprising to me, and that's a very good, you know, key point about this. And the clones rarely disappear. There are a few jutsu that kind of make the clones just disappear, and we're going to go into that and, you know, basically break that part down. So as far as the Sage Art Lightning Surge, you know what I'm talking about. As far as this jutsu goes, like I said, it's going to be low damage when, you know, it's not charged that far. So basically, you need to charge it in order to actually deal out some good damage, but you also have invincibility frames while you're doing this. The distance is a lot better whenever you charge it. So the distance, just pressing the button, isn't that far. But when you charge the jutsu, the distance is pretty good. Another thing with this, it's very good against other jutsus with super armor. You're going to see that when I go through the counters and stuff, but this is really good against Demon Hunter, Susanoo armor, and stuff like that. Stuff that has those invincibility frames. Another thing is, you can be knocked out of the animation with this jutsu, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff that does that, and that's the one negative thing. The invincibility frames you get with this jutsu aren't to the extent where, you know, nobody can knock you out of this jutsu. Another thing is, this jutsu is really good at beating hardening jutsu. So stuff like Nido Jizo, I'm going to show you that. But this jutsu is good at breaking stuff like that. But it's not good at breaking barrier type jutsus. So things like walls, water pillar, and sand shower. And I'm going to show you that as we go through. So when we look at the first jutsu, it's going to be the Limbo Border Gel. And what this basically is, clones appear from Limbo, Unseen World, to attack and restrain nearby opponents. Clones disappear after a certain amount of time. Additional input will cause clones to rush towards the user. So when I was actually trying out this jutsu, it's pretty good. And a thing that, you know, some people I don't think have been catching, the Limbo clones, if you just, so it can be useful for base battle. If you put the Limbo clones on the base and you just leave, as long as you're still within distance, if somebody tries to go on that base, the Limbo clones are going to attack. Or also, if you use the additional input, you can also use the Limbo clones to attack somebody, but sometimes this can be a little bit inaccurate and sometimes it can miss, like I said when I was, you know, going through the key points. So that's the one thing you need to know with the Limbo Border Gel. It can be inaccurate, but this jutsu is also very effective, and you know, it's really good for holding down a certain area. And I'm going to be going through some jutsus that's actually able to counter the Limbo. But all around, the Limbo is a pretty good jutsu. The only thing is, though, it's weak against taijutsu strikes. And also, like I said, certain range jutsus, certain like area effect range jutsus are going to be able to break through Limbo. So if you've seen Bleach and if you've seen Byakuya, his Senbon Sakura, there's a certain area in between his Senbon Sakura where there's a weakness. That's kind of the same thing with the Limbo, the way it works in this game. Using things like Laughing Buddha and stuff is going to get through it, and we're going to get into more on that as we get farther into the video. Another thing after I tested Limbo clones, so if you don't activate the Limbo clones once you press the button, they're going to disappear. And they last roughly about 10 seconds. They stay there for around 10 seconds, which is a decent amount of time for you to just be sitting there with the Limbo clones, and you know, it can very much come in handy. But what it seems like when I was using it, the longer you wait to actually activate the Limbo clones, the less likely they're going to hit, because it starts to get a little bit inaccurate, and sometimes they won't even go towards the enemy. They'll go behind you, or they'll just go in weird directions. So the other jutsu is the Sage Art Shadow Style Thunder Blast. And what this jutsu does, lightning surges from the user's hands to restrain opponents. Hold the button to increase the range. More charge variations reduce the target substitution, stock, and defense. So with this one, it's low damage when it's charged. So what I'm saying is, if you don't charge it that long, the damage itself isn't what's really the selling point with this jutsu. It's the fact that it stuns you and it reduces your substitution, and you know, it can reduce your defense. This is where, you know, it actually comes in, because it's kind of similar to Silent Strangle. That's how the jutsu works, and it also gives you a little bit of a frame of super armor. So that's what's going to allow you to, you know, to be able to power through certain strikes to actually land this attack. And another thing also, this thing breaks Susanoo armor and hardening jutsu. But I'm going to get more into that as we get farther into the video. But those are basically the key points with this. It's basically similar to the actual purple lightning tool, but the way it is, it also adds a certain aspect that's kind of similar to Silent Strangle, where it, you know, traps your opponent, and is very good to set up for team attacks. So for the ultimate, we have the Infinite Tsukuyomi. And what this does, it's a genjutsu that uses the Moon and Arena Sharingan to restrain all enemies. Additional input for Deep Divine Forest emergence. Absorbs health, ninjutsu plus cooldown time from nearby enemies. Also decreases the secret technique gauge. So I mean, this jutsu, I mean, it's kind of similar to, I guess, Izanami, but the thing is that I don't like about, you know, these two activation jutsus is that it doesn't restrain them with the first activation. Or at least with this one. With Infinite Tsukuyomi, it takes a little bit of time, but then eventually they go to sleep, and then you can do the Deep Forest Submersion. But that time that you're, you know, that time between, if somebody hits you and kills you, that's what makes me worry, you know, about, hey, I might have wasted my ult. But besides that, honestly, all around, I mean, like, hey, this is a pretty good ultimate, and it's pretty good for this, you know, to be with healers. And Madara actually does feel like a healer. Okay, so we get into the counters. If you skipped ahead, now you're going to be rewarded. So, the first thing we're going to be talking about is Strange Taste. Of course, Strange Taste is going to work. This jutsu is going to allow you to counter Limbo and Tsukuyomi, not Tsukuyomi, and the Purple Lightning. So basically, whenever the Limbo clones come at you, if you activate Strange Taste, you're going to be able to absorb the clones before they hit you. And this is also going to cancel out the Purple Lightning. We move over to the Uchiha style Halo Dance. This one's only going to work for the Limbo clones, and you're still going to take damage, but because of the Uchiha style Halo Dance having a multiple hit animation, you're still going to get majority of your hits off, but you are still going to take damage. Acrobat Technique is going to completely counter Limbo clones, because whenever the clones come after you, the Acrobat Technique is going to activate, and you're going to knock the clones back. So this is a pretty good, you know, counter for that. Sharingan, like I said, we already know Sharingan is going to counter everything because you get to sub. So Sharingan is going to counter both the Limbo clones and it's going to counter the Sage Art, you know, Purple Lightning. As far as Tornado High, this is going to work similar to a Uchiha style Halo Dance. It's going to come through and you're going to be able to actually hit through the clones, but you're still going to take damage. But you still get to land a strike and you don't take too much damage. Laughing Buddha Jutsu. This is what I meant when I was talking about ranged area attacks. Laughing Buddha is going to allow you to bring the hands up underneath where the Limbo clones are at, and it's going to allow you to deal. So Dynamic Entry is another one of those taijutsu jutsus where you can go through and hit, and the Limbo clones aren't really going to be able to hit you. So this is a pretty good combo for the Limbo. Well, counter for the Limbo with Dynamic Entry. And then also, like I said, taijutsu, any taijutsu ninjutsu is going to work, like Leaf Rising Wind, stuff like that, but you're still going to take damage. So that's why these are kind of counters, but not really, because you don't want to just be taking damage from the Limbo clones. Octo Hug is going to be perfect for countering the Sage Art Lightning Jutsu. It's going to completely eliminate the animation, and it's not going to allow them to charge, which is pretty effective. Kurama Twin Impact is also going to cancel out the animation for the Purple Lightning. But Rasen Rampage does not. You deal damage to them, but you do not cancel animation, so it's not really the best counter. And then Universal Pull is going to counter both of these jutsus. When you pull them out, when you pull, you're going to take them out of the Purple Lightning animation, and when you pull them from the Limbo clones aren't going to come after you. So this is a dub. We move over to range type, so just like with the attack type, pulling jutsu are going to work very well. So Flame Control is going to work well with the Limbo. It's going to go through and the Limbo clones aren't going to block the Flame Control from actually hitting your opponent. So you're going to deal damage and the Limbo clones aren't going to come after you unless your opponent activates them. Flame Lightning is good for both. It's going to counter the Limbo clones and the Purple Lightning because it's going to allow you to pull them from the animation of the Purple Lightning, and it's going to allow you to pull them from the Limbo clones, so you're not going to take any damage. Now this was another thing that was strange. The Ink Birds was able to go through the Limbo clones. Now the Twin Lions don't work, but the Ink Birds will deal damage against the Limbo clones and they won't activate. Shikigami Dance works strange. It completely eliminates the Limbo clones. So the jutsu itself just deactivates, and basically, I mean, your opponent basically has to wait for it to come back. So Shikigami Dance Shield is a pretty good jutsu to use to counter the Limbo clones. Another thing is Kamui Bond. If you activate Kamui Bond, when you go through the Limbo clones, they're going to try to attack you, but they're not going to be able to hit you because you're in Kamui state. And this is going to work the same way for Kamui Bond and Kamui Climax. As far as Majestic goes, Majestic is able just to completely destroy Limbo. So when you fire a Majestic at somebody using Limbo, it's basically going to knock them out of the Limbo state, and you know, the Limbo clones aren't going to come after you. So Majestic still overpowers all. Icicle Swallow, like I said, with the Purple Lightning, it works pretty similar to most jutsus that have super armor. So if you use the Icicle Swallow, but when they're activating the Purple Lightning, you're going to freeze them and you're going to cancel the animation. So Icicle Swallow is a good counter for the Purple Lightning. Amaterasu, like I said, this is another ranged area attack. So this is going to just pop up in the middle of the Limbo clones, so it's going to burn the Limbo clones, and this is also going to burn with Purple Lightning. It's going to completely eliminate the animation, which, you know, is a pretty good plus. Amaterasu is a pretty good counter. Severing Wave is going to allow you to deal damage in the limbo. You're not going to lock them out. You're not going to knock them out of the limbo state, but you're able to deal damage, and that alone is a plus right there. Another thing is also Heavenly Hand Power. I don't know why you would do this, but Heavenly Hand Power still works, and you can switch places when they activate limbo clones, but you're just going to get beat up by the limbo clones. You're going to get beat up like Megami from Jujutsu Kaisen. I believe Megami. Let me know. It might not be Megami. I know the guy that Itadori and them jumped. It might not be Megami, but let me know in the comments if I got that wrong. Also, Hiding in Ash is another thing that works well. Hiding in Ash is going to work similar to Subterranean Voyage. If you go into the range of the limbo clones, they're going to try to strike you, but you're going to be underground, so they're not going to be able to land strikes on you, which is pretty effective. Another thing is Shadow Snake. This is going to work similar to other Taijutsu jutsus. When you hit, they're not going to be able to hit you because, you know, if you have the right distance with the snakes, you're going to be able to deal damage, and the limbo clones aren't going to come after you, but most people are going to activate the clones. So this is kind of a semi-counter. And then also the lightning net is a good counter for the purple lightning. If you shoot the lightning net whenever they're trying to charge the purple lightning, you're going to completely eliminate the animation, which is very good. When we move over to the defense builds, the first thing we're going to be talking about is for defense jutsu is going to be a Uchiha style flame formation. This is going to work with Limbo. When the Limbo clones come at you, the Uchiha style flame formation is going to cancel the clones out for the most part, but you will get hit with the uppercut at the end. But that's better than taking the full combo, so we can count that as a counter. Toad Oil Bombs is going to completely go through the Limbo, and you're going to strike and hit your opponent, and you're not going to have to deal with any deep repercussions. So this counts as a counter. Dragon Flame Bomb is going to work similar to Majestic, where when you shoot the fireball, it's just going to, you know, hit your opponent, it's going to knock them back, and you're not going to have to worry about Limbo unless they activate Limbo. Spike Boulder is able to power through Limbo, but you're still going to take damage, and it doesn't power through the Purple Lightning. So Spike Boulder, it's something that really, if you're trying to just get them off the base and they have the Limbo clones, you can use Spike Boulder to get close and not have to worry about anything. Baruto Stream is probably the best counter with defense builds going against these two jutsus, because Baruto Stream is going to counter both of these. No issue. If the clones come at you or if the lightning comes, you're just going to sub and come from behind them with a Rasengan, and this is pretty effective. Demon Hunter is also going to work similar to the Spike Boulder when it comes to Limbo. Since you have super armor, the Limbo clones aren't going to be able to knock you back, and it's good for standing your ground, which counts as a counter. Water Prison works with the Purple Lightning. If you hit them while they're trying to do the animation, you're going to put them in the water circle, and the animation is going to be canceled. It doesn't work with Limbo clones because the Limbo clones are going to knock you back, which, as they should, but, you know, just so you know, Water Prison is not going to work against the Limbo clone. Hazan Strike doesn't work against Purple Lightning. You're not going to end the animation, but you can still strike them when they have Limbo clones. You're still going to get hit by the Limbo clones, but you're still going to be able to steal your opponent's substitution, and you're going to be able to hit them with both strikes of Hazan Strike. The Earth Bullet that you get from Hiruzen, the dragon, I believe, Earth Bullet, this one also is going to allow you to deal damage with the Limbo clones. If you set it in front of them and you aim it at them, the damage is going to go through the Limbo clones, and you're going to deal damage to your opponent. And then also, like I said, Kamui Climax is going to work the same as Kamui Bond, so we don't have to go through that. And another really good counter is going to be Sand Shield. If you activate Sand Shield while you're near either one of these jutsus, the Purple Lightning is going to break Sand Shield, but it's not going to stagger you similar to how Majestic does it. And as far as with the Limbo clones, if you activate Sand Shield, the Limbo clones are going to disappear because they're not going to be able to strike you when you're in Sand Shield. So Sand Shield is a perfect counter for both of Madara's jutsu. Because this basically goes off of what I was saying with the Limbo, well, with the Purple Lightning. It works good against hardening jutsu, so things like Nido Jizo and stuff like that, but it's not going to break barriers. So Sand Shield, Mud Wall, 8 trigrams palm rotation, Domed Wall, none of these jutsus are going to be broken by the Purple Lightning. So last but not least, we got the healer counters. Yeah, we got healer on healer crime. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So the counters with the healers, we're starting off with Mind Transmission. Mind Transmission is going to counter both of these, the Limbo and the Purple Lightning. It's going to completely eliminate the animation for the Purple Lightning. And for the Limbo clones, you can just take over their body with Mind Transmission and just sit there and wait for a while, and then the clones will disappear. This works the same way with Shadow Possession. You're going to end the animation, you can just have your opponent sitting there for a little bit until the Limbo clones disappear. Now this doesn't work with Shadow Stitching for some reason, but Shadow Possession will still counter both of these jutsus. Heavenly Foot of Pain is going to work with Purple Lightning. If you activate Heavenly Foot of Pain and hit them while they're charging, you're going to knock them out of the animation. It doesn't really do much with the Limbo clones. You're still going to be able to deal damage, but the clones are still going to hit you. Truthseeker Orb works well with the Purple Lightning. No, Truthseeker Orb works well with Limbo. It's able to go well with Limbo. The Limbo clones are not going to be able to strike you. But Truthseeker Orb is not going to do well against Purple Lightning because Purple Lightning is going to knock you out of the Truthseeker stage, as it should, because it's a Sage art and Sage Jutsu is supposed to be able to defeat Truthseeker, Jutsu. Tsukuyomi is going to counter both of Madara's Jutsus. That's going to be, the Purple Lightning and the Limbo clones. This is working similar to also Shadow Possession and also Mind Transmission. If you time it right, they'll be sitting there in the Tsukuyomi state, and it can cause them to run out of their Limbo clones. Also, Yasuka Beads is able to go through the Limbo clones, and you're still going to deal damage to your opponent, so they can't just sit on the base. If you use Yasuka Beads, you're going to knock them off the base with Yasuka Beads. Nervous System Rupture works similar to most taijutsus whenever you're going against Limbo, but because Nervous System Rupture moves so fast, you have a chance to get away from Limbo clones and not allow them to hit you while still dealing damage to your opponent, and that's why we put that as a counter. Paralysis is going to work for both of these jutsus. It works pretty similar to Tsukuyomi. You're going to stun them. I don't know why you'd run Paralysis Jutsu, but it's going to work well with canceling out the Purple Lightning and also, just stunning your Limbo, the guy that's standing in between Limbos, but you're not going to be able to strike them, so I don't know why you use this one. And then also, if you were wondering, Byakugan, I don't know if you watched one of my videos before, when I countered Chikashoto, Byakugan was able to see the Chikashoto. It doesn't work with Limbo clones, so if you activate Byakugan, you're not going to be able to see the Limbo clones, which, is unfortunate because from the attacker's side, the Limbo clones look pretty similar to Chikashoto, but they're a little bit less visible, but I was a little bit sad when I found out Byakugan won't counter it to allow you to see them. So that's what we got with the healer builds. And then also an extra, there is a ninja tool that is able to break through the Limbo clones, and that's going to be the Earth Release Bullet. If you throw the Earth Release Bullet, you're still going to deal damage towards them even if they have the Limbo clones. So that's definitely a plus, and it's a positive.
20分ほどでパンク。つまり通常戦闘で
But if you made it this far into the video, honestly, hey man, you're amazing. Thank you for all the support. Let me know how y'all felt about, my breakdown of Madara. Just to clear things up, Shadow Possession breaks Limbo. Shadow Stitching actually does break the Purple Lightning Jutsu, so just to clear that up for you. But let me know any counters that I missed and anything, anything that I can do to improve on these counters, because we're going to be doing this for every DLC. So if you like seeing counters, if you like knowing how to beat the meta, make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can know whenever I post new videos. I really appreciate all the support y'all have, and let me know how y'all feel about, Baryon mode, Naruto, and Ishiki are coming to the game. I have a little bit of a mixed feeling on it, but I'm going to talk about that in another video. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for staying this long, and I'm going to see y'all next time. We up.